Watching for a Friend, where I watch movies and shows because I love them and let you know whether it's worth watching or not. If you're new here, thank you so much for choosing me. I hope you stay till the end of this video and I hope you enjoy it. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate the support and I hope you enjoyed today's video. So I just finished watching episode 3 of season 4, Insecure. This episode was called Low-Key Thankful, and I loved this episode. We start out with Lawrence and Condola. So Lawrence is obviously prepping for an interview. My initial thought was, oh my goodness, did he get fired again? Has he been out of work and we just didn't know it? I couldn't tell what that was all about, but it actually turns out when they explain when Condola and he are talking that he's actually looking to go out for a promotion at work. Now, once he gets to work, and I've been really curious about what's going on at his job anyway, because I wanted to know kind of where he was with his this group of coworkers that he used to have. But anyway, once he gets to work, he finds out that they are actually not doing so well financially, and he sees that even though he thinks his job is safe, he actually can't, grow with the company. And we know that his ambition in the past has led to like his depression. So when we think about Woot Woot, his app from season 1 and season 2, he was always like trying to be so ambitious about this app, but it actually led to him not being able to make any headway. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, to see if he falls back into old habits. Things are coming into fruition. I said this in the last two. I said this in my last 2 reviews. Let's see where he goes, because he actually hasn't done the work of getting himself together mentally. So we'll see if he falls back into old habits. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with that. And it'll be interesting to see how Condola handles this, because she's such a strong businesswoman. She has her head on straight. She's very driven. And it'll be interesting to see if she kind of sticks by his side if he falls back into his old habits. So I love the scene that Lawrence and Chad had together, and Chad's character is strongly developed for someone who only shows up every once in a while. The fact that they called out that he bought a new Range Rover when he ain't sold no houses just to keep up appearances is like spot on to his like character's background. I thought that was hilarious. And then he tries to give Lawrence some trash advice about trying to keep up appearances. So I was like, this is like, everybody has that friend that can't give advice for nothing, but they're living their life and you can't tell them nothing either. So I loved their conversation. And then again, obviously, Chad kind of talks to Lawrence about, his future with Condola, and saying that he really needs to like up his game for Condola. So I think it'll be interesting to see where their storyline goes. And I love how they moved the storyline forward with Chad's conversation. We also see Lawrence and Issa's relationship, their friendship starting to blossom again. And we see kind of the spark that they had most likely at the beginning of their relationship, which we didn't see. We got inserted into the relationship at kind of its lowest point in season 1. But now we're seeing why they had such chemistry in the beginning. They have very similar senses of humor, and they can talk freely with each other. I think neither of them is awkward with the other. Insert Condola, who is so much more like Lawrence, so they are a much more low-key, serious couple, and I think that they're kind of boring together, right? I honestly think Lawrence deserves Condola. Like Issa has so much spark and fire, and Condola is so much more settled. And I think that's what Lawrence really is going for, especially coming from like his parents' military background. So, but Issa does bring like this fire to both of their lives And I obviously there's something between Issa and Lawrence still, which is a little disheartening because I'm like, oh my goodness, if they cheat, I'm going to be so upset with Issa for backpedaling. I just don't want her to do it. But we wouldn't have a show if there wasn't crazy drama. But I really do hope that whatever they do, it's not, against Condola, because I am starting to really like her character and appreciate her character for who she is. Now, the scene with Issa and Molly in the grocery store, I'm glad that they're finally getting it out there that they both know that their vibe is off. They can't seem to connect the right time and the right place to really get real with each other. I do think they have to go through a period where they don't speak for a little bit. We haven't seen them really do that. So I do think they need space. And I think that originally at episode 1, I was like, I think they're going to go through a day of not talking and then, come back together. But I'm starting to believe that maybe they will go their separate ways because there are some fundamental differences that they have, and I think that they are just really starting to become two very different people. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh, I think this might be the end of their friendship. I hope not, but I think it is, so we'll see. But I do love that because Issa and Molly aren't of the same, on the same accord right now, that this gave us an opportunity to see Issa and Amal together. I was so excited to see Amal in almost the entire episode. I'm always super curious about Amal's character. I was really excited to see him. He did such a good job in this episode. Issa and his relationship is really good. We start to learn more about their family and their family dynamics. So we see why they don't talk to their parents very often and why their parents aren't in their lives. It seems like their parents are just kind of living their own lives. They're all grown and they are just kind of, they're not as close to them as they would have been. And it sounds like they've had some issues from their parents' divorce. They reference their mom being kind of crazy. They reference their dad being kind of a nervous wreck or, fed up. They said that he threw their Thanksgiving turkey in the pool at one point. And then Amal also mentioned that he's in therapy. And so, yeah, we got so much insight into Amal and Issa's backstory, their upbringing. So I loved this episode. I just loved seeing the relationship between Issa and Amal. He's like the Solange to Issa's Beyonce, right? So he was when they were sitting down at dinner. Well, first of all, I died when they were walking up to their mom's house. They see the ambulance, they see people standing around, they're like, oh no, it's mom. They start running. And as soon as they get up on the house and they see it's their mom's boyfriend, they're like, oh no, it's just Stanley. I was like, I get that. I totally understand that. I wouldn't run. But I loved that part. That was hilarious. And they were just so over this man. They were so over the family that he brought around. And I thought that was hilarious. And then I love that the mom, the person that they chose to cast as the mom was Wendy Raquel Robinson. I love her. I'm so excited to see her in this show. I hope we get to see more of her throughout the season. I hope it's not just a quick cameo, but she is really working because she plays the mom on Dear White People as well, and she's kind of a recurring character on there. So I hope she turns into a recurring character and we get to see her more. I also loved that we got to see Molly's family again. Molly holds these grudges and I don't understand why. She's still so upset with her father. And the timeline, I think what messes us up is the fact that we had to wait a year for this season to start, because the last time we saw her parents were mid season 2. Over 2 years ago is the last time we've seen her parents. So it's really difficult it feels like she's been holding this grudge for 2 years, when in reality it's probably only been 2 or 3 months in their world. So it's a little difficult to see why she's still holding this grudge against her father. Yes, she views her father different, but the relationship doesn't change, and she shouldn't be like freezing her father out. Like, I don't understand why she can't just like have a normal conversation with her dad or even accept a Snapple from her father. But I'm like, this happened before you were even born. Your mom has gotten over it. Your dad still raised you. It's not, it's just like it seems like she is just holding a grudge because she wants to. But outside of that, her family and her interaction with her family was really entertaining. We saw her brothers pregnant with not his child girlfriend. And that was hilarious because he was so earnest to please her, but like she's pregnant with some other man's baby. And then we also saw that Masika Kalisha was playing her older brother's stripper turned wife. And so I thought it was really cool to see all these people coming together, because she's referenced how her brothers' lives are, so how her brothers are a hot mess, and then they come together and it's these like two women who are very, very different from Molly, and her family is very different from her. Like, she's the only one that got out the hood, and it just like shows that she is balancing this like high powered attorney world with this very, very humble, down home family. So when we get back together with Lawrence and Condola, they are at Friendsgiving at Condola's house that Lawrence invited himself to. She actually wasn't going to invite him because she wasn't sure if they were at that place in their relationship. So we get to meet some of Condola's friends, and they're a lot like her. They're very settled. A lot of them are in committed relationships. And then she has one wild friend that drinks a little too much, and I forget her name, but it's the woman who runs the Black Lady sketch show. And she ends up telling Lawrence that Condola really needed to get over her ex-husband, and that Lawrence is a really great guy to kind of fill her time, and she just needed to kind of date around. And so this worries Lawrence. Obviously his insecurity starts to seep in, and he, starts to think, oh, maybe this isn't as serious as I thought. So they get into kind of their first argument, and they both kind of throw some daggers about not quite being over their ex. She poses a question to Lawrence that if Issa hadn't cheated on him, if they would be broken up or if they would still be together. And then in a previous scene, or actually in a scene after that, we see Issa opening up to her brother about how she feels that Condola is getting the more polished, finished product of Lawrence, while she had to deal with Lawrence at his absolute worst. She never got this mature, man who is taking care of business. She got the one in progress, and then Condola is getting kind of like this finished product. So we see that they both do still have some unanswered questions in the back of their mind. So all signs are leading to the fact that they may get back together at some point, or may have to have a conversation about what their future would have looked like had they not broken up, at the very least. And I think that they are going to rekindle a friendship or a relationship, but I still don't think they will last. I'm putting that on record. I do not think it's a good idea for her to backpedal. I think she can do better than Lawrence. Now, Condola is not dumb. She sees their relationship. She sees that they don't have any bad blood between them. I think that is something that can corrode friendships and relationships, just kind of like having those doubts in your mind. Condola and Lawrence are at a point where they could easily go their separate ways with very little damage. But Issa and Condola, they are now wrapped up in business together for some time. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens with their business relationship. At this point, it's not looking like they will be able to be friends. I just don't know how they would make that work and both, you know, remain friends or in a relationship with Lawrence or whatever. So, couple things that I just wanted to mention before before I end this video. A couple things that I loved. So, Chad, why can't we ever see Leah? But why can't we ever see Leah? Why do they always block out her face? When will we get to see Leah? I need to know. So tell me what you think. Do you think we're ever going to see Leah? And who do you think, what actress should they get to play Chad's, significant other? Who should they get to play against Chad? Also, Kelly, all of her Instagram stories in this episode were hilarious. The fact that she had her crazy aunts coming over, and they were arm wrestling at one point because they had all gotten completely drunk. And then the fact that she had Trina, Issa's, apartment, the woman who lives in Issa's apartment, the fact that she had Trina come over to her house, I was like, this is a pairing that I love. I want to see more of the Trina and Kelly show. So I thought that was hilarious that they connected at the party in the first episode, and now she's inviting Trina over for crazy Thanksgiving. Loved that. And again, loved Amal's character. He really is kind of just like, you know what? I love how honest he is to Issa. And he's like, you don't owe anybody anything. Just be yourself. Do you. And so I love the empowerment he infused her with in this episode. And I want to see more of Amal. He needs to be a regular character. I'm done with him being recurring. He needs to be in Issa's life every single day. So I'm appreciating that they're adding him to the cast more. We will see what happens next week, but let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Molly and Issa will just their relationship will completely crumble? They won't speak to each other again and they will no longer be friends? Do you think Issa and Lawrence are getting back together? Are you team Issa? Are you team Condola? Let me know which one, and I will talk to you all next week. Thank you so much. Bye.